2,520 Ks, 4 days, 0 vehicles. This is why you get to the top end early season. We have the entire Savannah Way to ourselves. We are currently right on the far northern edge of Australia, the border between Queensland and the Northern Territory. Legend has it that everything to the east of here was policed, but everything to the west was utterly lawless and labelled hell. That's where we're going. There's a dude in a ditch.
Well, I'm lucky I meet you.
You're very lucky.
Yeah.
We are back out on the open road. And for this leg of the journey, the mission's simple. We're crossing from Queensland into the Northern Territory along the famous Savannah Way. We've left behind the densely populated East Coast. Now, we're heading far from civilization, with around 3,000 Ks of remote top-end driving staring us in the face. As some of the first vans up north, quite a bit has happened. Rain being one of those things. Jock and Jesse stranded in the desert. Ourselves, we've had to totally rejig our plans for this particular trip because the massive flooding through central Queensland. The outback has copped record flooding in late autumn, and central Queensland was right in the thick of it. There's been a lot of devastation left behind. But once the waters drop and the country starts to bounce back, well, it turns into one of the most beautiful places you'll ever see.
It is so nice being back here and, you know, following Graham around in some dirt. Like this is his thing. So this is our first time heading, you know, west kind of from the middle of Queensland rather than touching the top and coming back down. So this is all new to us.
And that brings us to where the real fun begins. If I'm not mistaken, yes, this is it. Finally, we've done it. Savannah Way. Here we are. After what has felt like an absolute marathon drive, we finally get to turn left on the famous Savannah Way. And this is where it kicks off. We're taking this all the way to the end, all the way to the west coast. National Highway 1. It's the road that, if you kept driving, would take you all the way around this massive country of ours. Have a go at how beautiful that is down to the right there. That is stunning.
I did not expect to see flowing water out here.
Yeah, that's stunning. That's beautiful. Welcome to the top end. Ah. As soon as you hit the Savannah Way, you meet the Gregory River crossing. This time of year, this crossing is usually much shallower. But the flood markers are showing over 300 mils of water still washing over it. Alrighty, the crossing of the Gregory. Crossed this numerous times. In fact, of the number of times I've crossed this, I don't think it's ever been dry. I think there's always water over the top of this. This, however, without a shadow of a doubt, is the most water I've ever seen over the Gregory Causeway. What is staggering is that a kilometre or so up there is the roadhouse. We can get fuel up there, etc., etc. And they've had to build the roadhouse up a good couple of metres all the way up there because this floods so heavily that the roadhouse goes under a kilometre up that way. It's phenomenal. Absolutely mind-boggling to think. I can't get my head around the volume of water that floods through this part of the world during the wet. Oh man, it looks so good. It just looks so good. I love it up here. Holy balls, I love it up here. I'm gonna try and catch a barra.
Yoo! Give me some theme music. That's it.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty cool. Oh look, Gaz is fishing.
Is he?
Oi, he's got something on there.
Oh, sick! The mad bastard. How's this for a warning to all the fish out there? It is not safe in these parts for you. That's a huge barra that someone has claimed will be me one day.
The Savannah Way is a highway like no other. This stretch alone runs for about 3,700 kilometres, linking Cairns on the east coast with Broome on the WA coast. A few big days of driving takes us a couple of 100 k's across some spectacular country and into some cracking locations. Right, so far so good, no crocs. Water is sublime. If you look hard enough, you'll stumble on places that feel truly magical, untouched, and as remote as it gets. And if you're lucky, you might even make a few mates along the way. Bloomin' peak hour out here. There you go.
Oh, you're so cute. Hello, little cows.
There you go. How's things, mate? There aren't many places in the world with a highway quite like this one. Just driving along, listening to a bit of country and a smidgen of western, when something occurred to me and I thought I'd just jump out and show you what was in my mind. Check this out. Down that way, as far as the eye can see down that way, this right here, National Highway 1. Isn't it incredible that out here in the middle of nowhere you are driving on Highway 1? So what that means is, if I keep going in that direction and my cameraman turns around and goes in that direction, we can both take this road all the way home on opposite sides of the country. Now, if he kept going past home and I kept going past home, we could meet down in South Australia somewhere and have a beer together on this road, Highway 1. Utterly astounding. Not long into the Savannah Way, it's clear there's more water around than we expected. And the further west we push, the wetter it gets. Our only saving grace, well, we're close to the northern coast where the Gulf of Carpentaria lies, and water here drains south into the Great Artesian Basin. So in theory, we are in the driest section. It doesn't feel like it though. We push on with a few hundred more k's under the belt, then stumble across one of the most unique campsites you'll ever see. 20 to 6 or thereabouts, sun's getting low. I've got a pin on my GPS here. I've no idea when I put it there or why I put it there, but just up here on the left, I have marked a waterside camp. I'm gonna guess that I might have dropped in here at some stage to or from the Gulf for a toilet break, but it might just make a good camp.
Yeah, perfect place for us to sleep, right next to your toilet break.
Holy heck! There is. When I said waterside, I was not joking.
Oh God, that's awesome. What?
Where did this come from? We've been far out.
Let me tell you something. Some of the best campsites in Australia are the ones you'd never expect. A gravel pit by name, sure, but look at it. You tell me that's not a 5-star view. Have a go at this, will you? You'd think by looking at that we are camped on one of the most exclusive billabongs in the Gulf. Sunset, still water. No, it's a gravel pit by the side of the road. But what an absolute cracker, as you all know, I am a sucker for a gravel pit. I learned it from my old man. Perfect spots to camp for an overnighter, but this one might just take the cake as the best gravel pit I have ever stayed in. Look at that. Now, it's been a big couple of days. We've finally made it. Savannah Way is running just across there. We have, red-tailed black cockatoos in the distance. It doesn't get much better. The good news is we have still got 10, 11 days to go. See how we feel. I'm going to go and crack a drink. I think George's on fire duty tonight. I'm just going to soak it all in. You all know what I'm talking about. You get it. A successful day in what is a truly quintessentially Australian place, the top end. We've made it, and yeah, it feels good. Out here, campsites aren't booked. They're discovered. Just us, the vans, a still lake, and maybe a barra or two lurking beneath the surface. So far, the vans have endured the salt and sand of the East Coast, and now the dust and corrugated roads, and they have not missed a beat. First job of the day, get your bed made. My mum taught me that. Now, we've had quite a bit of interest in the old lifestyle campers, and for good reason. These things are incredible bits of kit. One question that has come up, probably on top of just about any others, is with the sleeping arrangements, obviously your head is up near the canvas area. People are wondering, does it not flap in strong winds? Now look, I'll give you two examples of times that I've had exceptionally strong winds. The first was on Fraser when we camped right on the coast, right after Cyclone Alfred had come through. And the second was at Stanage Bay when we camped in that little pocket of forest right on the coast, and the wind was coming directly off the coast into camp. Again, zero flapping. When you raise the roof, the canvas actually becomes taut between, the roof is it's a really solid mass. And the base of the van, well, that's the base of the van. The canvas gets caught between the two, so it's actually pulled between the two. Second thing is, there's an elastic band that runs the entire way around, pushing the canvas in and away from the outside so that when you fold the roof down, the canvas comes inside. Again, stops any residual flapping you might get. And then the third thing is, it's not like traditional, how would you put it, swag canvas. It's incredibly thick. So as a result of those three things, no, it does not flap at all, and I have slept in incredibly strong winds. What it does do though, when you open it all up like I've got, the breeze through here of a night time, oh my goodness. I never sleep as good as I do under canvas or in canvas. You don't usually land a fish in a lagoon-fed gravel pit. But hey, out here, the usual doesn't mean much. With the rods packed and the vans shut tight, we head west again, chasing the sun across the top end. And just like the lone jabberoo we spotted this morning, we're bound for the unknown. Queensland behind us and the Northern Territory dead ahead. Well, folks, it's time to say goodbye to two things today. Firstly, the gravel pit of my dreams, and secondly, Queensland. Today we cross the border into the Territory.
Hell yeah. Does that mean we go back 5 years and half an hour?
Ooh, spicy words from the Queenslander.
Tell you what, I'm never going to underestimate a gravel pit in my life.
Mate, rules to live by. Gravel pits are the bomb. When you get one like this that's actually got fish in it, where the heck do fish come from in a gravel pit? Got me stuffed. If you're thinking of hitting the outback, here's a tip. If you can, do it after the rain. This country doesn't just recover, it erupts back to life. Birds, beasts, billabongs. It's like someone flicked a switch. Magic you don't see every day.
We've been on the road for about 5 minutes at this point, and would you look at that? Someone needs to flick a lure in another crossing. The Great Fishing Competition of 2025, as these boys are ready to roll and feeling competitive.
I've just hooked the earth, but these little culverts that we're driving over here, at this time of year, just after the wet, they're still, as you can see, full of water through here. In another month, this will almost be dry, but they do contain fish, barramundi. Come all the way through here when it's wet, and you often get really good fish just off these culverts. So every time we drive over one, I jump out and have a quick cast, because you just never know when that next big barra is going to come directly off the road. But the fish weren't biting, and somehow we've managed to block the road. A couple of fellas in a Hilux try to squeeze around, and it doesn't go quite to plan. Well, I'm going to take full responsibility for this. Haven't seen a car in 19 years. Stop on this culvert for a fish. These boys come along and they've fallen in a hole. So I kind of feel partly responsible for this. What we're going to do, just winch them forward, get them onto the culvert, then we'll just pack this up here. So we'll get the camera car, winch this thing forward, pack it up, drive off into the sunset. Back into patrol, hey? Could do with a booster seat. Look how short I am in this thing. I can't reach the pedals. It's not a big deal though. We should have these boys out in no time with the run buck, with a valuable lesson learned. Like I bought one. Cheers, boys. See you up there. Yeah. Our next destination along the Savannah is one of the few places you'll actually find any semblance of civilization, but it comes with a heavy name, and for good reason. Bit of a milestone just here, and something I want to show you right there, and there should be another one here. That's it. Wow. If these rocks could talk. This stunning bit of real estate right here has some crazy history attached to it. You can see these rocky outcrops here running north-south, and there's a natural gap in the middle, or a gate, if you will. Back in the early days, when settlers were trying to push west, looking for new grazing country, mining, the whole lot, they could get a police escort from the east all the way to here. Beyond here, into the west, utterly lawless until you get to Catherine. Anything that happened on this side of the range was unpoliced. It was a fair game for any man, woman or child on this side, and some absolute horrendous atrocities occurred in this land. As such, it was dubbed hell on this side, and that gap right there is called Hell's Gate. We've just passed through it, and we're heading in that direction, of course. Modern times right now. Let's hope, though, it doesn't live up to the same reputation. Just past Hell's Gate marks another milestone. 5,000 clicks on the odometer since we left Rainbow Beach near Fraser Island on the east coast.
All right, so 5,000 kilometers in, we've come this much on the map, and honestly, this car, 5 stars.
Well, I think like we had questions coming in. Did it have the power? Did it have the fuel efficiency to actually get us around the place? And
those questions have been answered. I reckon.
It's just ticked off, and the fact that we can be following what everyone seems to say is the car for out here, being the 79 up there. Make up your mind for yourself. Like, look, there's the proofs in the pudding. Big Baz handling it all.
Just past that 5,000k mark, we hit the border to the NT. Well, the air is about to get a little bit different. We're pushing into the Northern Territory, and that means I'm getting ever so close to being back on WA soil.
Craving it.
Oh, mate, you must be getting the jitters, hey?
I feel like I've been in Queensland for a long time. It is kind of my second home state. I love Queensland to pieces, but it's going to feel nice to drive across the border into the NT, which I'm about to do just now. No one's checking my passport. That's good news. Here we go, listen. There we go. Welcome to the NT. I'm doing the touristy thing. I'm getting a photo. I'm using a real camera.
Welcome to the NT, everyone.
Big Baz crossing borders. Made it.
I think I got it.
All right, lots more to go. We're only less than halfway through the trip.
See you in the NT, guys.
The Northern Territory side of the Savannah is something else entirely. We're deep in the Barkly tablelands now, a vast rolling expanse that feels truly untouched. No fences, no phone signal. About as remote as you can get in a 4-wheel drive. It's raw, it's remote, and it's absolutely stunning. You know, big fella?
What are you on?
Yeah, we're in drought monster territory now.
Just look down at the old speedo down here, the tripometer. We've done 2,524 kilometres in the last few days, seen approximately 4 cars, 2 of which council workers, probably fixing up the last bits of the road, and 2 other guys out barra fishing. That means we have the entire Savannah Way to ourselves. Early season, a little bit spicy, days are in the 30s. Doesn't matter though. And that's why I constantly harp on about the best time to visit anywhere in Australia is shoulder season. That period before and after that peak bit in the middle when everybody gets to that certain location. Sure, you got to put up with a little bit of conditions on either end, but the rewards, places like this, all to yourself.
Look at
it go! But with that remoteness comes a price. We've got to knuckle down now and knock over some Ks. After a few more water crossings, we're still pushing on into the night. And when the sun rises beside our roadside camp, it's the kind of morning that makes it all worthwhile. Well, we've sort of done the hard work, if you will. We've sort of covered the first little part of the savannah, and now we're getting into what I consider to be the good stuff. So, blasted through, and now all these waterways, they're quite swollen after the wet. This would be nowhere near as high as this come the dry. So we're now going to take advantage of this, have a bit of a cast as we drive. Beautiful camps to come, big open skies, the weather 100% turning it on. This is the time to be up here. If we can just get a barra to go in the fridge, wouldn't get much more perfect. Little tiny rat barramundi, we call these things. Little breeding ground for him in here. I'm going to send him back, and hopefully one day I'll get him significantly bigger. There you go, buddy. Good fun. A few good casts, but still nothing of any size in the Dometic. So we keep rolling.
Good morning. It is another day on the Savannah Way.
But it's slow going now. The track's turned rough, real rough.
You know what's so good about the Northern Territory side of Savannah Way? They don't take care of the road, but they put little signs on the particular bits that you should be worried about. It's like, we're not going to fix it, but what we will do is show you the parts we're definitely not going to fix.
So the Gibb River Road gets probably the worst rap for the most hectic corrugation in the country. But I don't think the Savannah Way gets talked about enough, because we are, I think, 200, 300 k's into the Savannah Way. And there have been some nice bits. There have been some bloody rough bits.
This road, I feel like I cannot pick a good line. Everywhere I go, it's just bad corrugation.
It's a bit like that. If you kind of keep your eyes squinted, you can see one line through the entire thing, but it does zigzag back and forth.
So, with corrugations that are bloody deep, and that's solid as in there, we're stopping to drop our tyres even more. We had them on about 30, we're going down to 25. And this is exactly why. What we've found in the sand here, someone's half a U-bolt from their suspension that has just absolutely been obliterated. So, do the smart thing, drop your tyres, drive to the conditions.
The first real town we've seen in days, Borroloola, a remote indigenous community cut off for half the year during the wet season. Out here, isolation isn't a feeling, it's a fact. But the mighty Savannah Way has other ideas, and the cameraman up front calls out on the radio with some dramas.
We've just come across, another issue on the road, as you do. Someone has blown a tyre.
That is boiling. Jesus Christ. It's skinned my arm.
Well, that was kind of exciting. I was just driving along, the camera car in front of me, and all of a sudden, he's decided to do a European drive. He's back in America. He swerved over to the right and parked. Very unlike him. Unless he gets a match on Tinder, in which case anything could happen, but that wasn't what happened. Front tyre, front right, just went kabow. See you later. And blew out. She's completely stripped the sidewall. Of course, we have a long way to go, and the cameraman isn't too interested in riding shotgun with me. So a few k's up the road, we visit the local workshop to fit a new spare on the GU. In the meantime, I got talking to the local mechanic about what he sees as the biggest issue people have when they bring a 4B into him. And you'd be surprised at the answer. Rightio, camera car is getting a brand new tyre put on that spare. I was just having a chat to old mate in the Borroloola store there, and surprisingly, it's not so much tyres that they do a lot of up here, it's shocks, replacing shock absorbers. People come up here with cheap shock absorbers, and on these corrugations, they just go bang. Now, the other thing to remember too, you get up to a place like Borroloola, there's no shock absorber shop up here. The chances of you picking up a shock that's going to fit your required application and be perfect, slim to none. That means they have to get one in. Ain't no mail plane coming in here daily with your shock absorbers on it, so there's a good chance you'll be stuck here for a while waiting for your shocks. And that's why I always say it, folks, put quality components on your vehicles before you get up here, like the Pettis system I'm running on the big 79. New spare fitted, tanks full. We're back on the road and pushing into another long, empty stretch of the savannah. The sun's dipping low, but I've got just the spot for tonight's camp. Yep, another gravel pit.
All right, sunset's in an hour. We're watching the clock tick down, and we've just heard Graham say there's a cool campsite up here.
He said that. He says gravel pit in his sleep.
Man loves a gravel pit. This might be a gravel pit, but this also might be something incredibly different and unique and very cool. Here's hoping.
Oh, this is sick. Just needing to push through some trees, and we got this whole.
I wonder if it's going to have a view.
Oh, this is cool. All right.
Folks, look, don't judge a book by its cover, and don't judge a campsite by its name. Gravel pits are some of the most underrated camps in Australia. They're quiet, they're flat, and they're easy to pull into. And best of all, they are free. Gotta love that. If ever there was a spot that you need a self-leveling van, this is it. Let me show you what I'd normally do. Yeah, cameraman over here, he's gonna do his best to try and walk with me with his camera. What I'd ordinarily do, this is the high side, I like to drop the high side down. So ordinarily I'd dig a hole under each of these wheels and drop it down. In this stuff though, in the gravel pit of my dreams, that's not gonna happen. Another thing I wanna show you, I wanna share something with you. Come here. I have grown up. That's right, I have put some pre-planning together. In here, we have meat defrosting before dinner. Yep, that's right, because I am a grown up. Now, let's level this van. Tonight's meal is a special one, something very different. I hope the kids are hungry because this one will certainly fill you up. Just got into camp, literally just set the camper up, haven't even got the fire going yet, nothing else has been done, but I do need to start with a preliminary addition to the ingredient list on the menu. And it needs to sit for an hour or two. And that is, I need to make a meat sauce. It'll make sense later on. When I say a meat sauce, you're probably thinking like a bolognese sauce. No. Meat, I need to liquidize meat so that when I pour it out, liquid meat comes out of there. Trust me on this. It is probably the most important part of the entire thing, and it's the one part that you can make yourself. You can make your own variation of this. I'm gonna do a pretty simple one tonight because we're in the middle of golf, but the meat sauce, for what is gonna come up for tonight's dinner, is vitally important. Okay, I've just browned a bit of mince off there. The next step of the equation is to add some flavour to that. Here's the thing I haven't shown you guys either. I've got two handles on my tap. A little handle there and a big handle up here. And then there's two spouts, one there and one there. The little handle is filtered drinking water. For the love of... Now, what we need to do here is just add just a small amount of water from my Hell's Gate cup, which I'm going to keep. Might have a coffee in that tomorrow. And then to that, we're going to add some flavours. So, you don't need to see me do it. We're going to put a pinch of cinnamon, a pinch of cayenne, a pinch of paprika, a decent amount how's this? All I needed was a tablespoon of chili powder. I've got all that. That'll last me the next 10 years. A little bit of chili powder, some salt, some pepper.
This is what it's like being the passenger princess all day and then all night. Here I am. I've got my drink. Got a boy on the fire. Look at him carrying logs across. Those will be soon chopped. Graham's on dinner. And life's good. Yeah. Life's pretty good.
Couple more off-track wines and the sun sets behind the Barclay Tablelands. Tomorrow's another unknown, but for now, we are exactly where we're meant to be. All right, all that requires now is one little additive. A, B, have you got any off-track?
Yeah.
Red?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect, thanks mate, it's got to go in the sauce. Doesn't go in the sauce, that goes in me. I love chasing recipes that have an origin that's a little bit quirky. New York, 1910. A recipe was born in order to feed hungover uni students, and I think you'll understand now why this resonates with me. It's called a garbage plate. Basically what we're looking at here is a carbohydrate layer, a meat layer, and then a meat layer, and then a sauce layer. We're gonna make all the little bits and pieces come together, plate it up, and then you will see why this is called a garbage plate and why you folks are 100% gonna make your own variation of this. Kids love it. Right, meat sauce is going on here. I've got the Barbie cranking for the next part. I'm about to hand over probably the hardest part of the whole thing, which is we need mac and cheese. Who doesn't love mac and cheese? However, Uncle Gaz stuffed up and bought 2 8-packs of mac and cheese. I've got 16 packs of mac and cheese. You're supposed to do it in a microwave. I wouldn't have a clue how that works, and so I'm going to call in my little friend. I guess 4 packets of mac and cheese for us without a microwave.
I'm going to say 8.
You're going to say? I like your enthusiasm. So we've got basically a bowl of meat in here. The meat sauce, snaggers, and hamburgers. Traditionally, the garbage plate does not have sausages. I'm making this a little bit more Australian because these little bad boys right here are lamb sausages as well. They don't eat a lot of lamb in America, especially not in New York. So, got a little bit of an Australian tangent to it. The next part of this ensemble is the bit I'm the most nervous about. I've never done this before. I don't know if it's going to work, but the only way I can think to cook chips tonight is on the barbecue. So I've kept these bad boys frozen in the Dometic. Woohoo! I'm going to pop them on here, move them around a heap, and I don't know. Hopefully, out of that comes some chips. In the comments down below, if you've ever done frozen chips, is this the way to do it? Let me know.
So the garbage plate is happening over there, and we've been tasked with the bottom layer of garbage.
Some use teeth, some use scissors. For lack of a microwave, we're doing it on stovetop.
Jordan's currently doing negotiations with all of the tiny silver packets of flavouring. The quality of the scissors is not helping.
We might need Graham's knife.
Oh.
You missed half of that.
You know what? It doesn't matter because we have so much.
Look at that.
I had 1 wine.
Holy heck, garbage plate. It's a big deal. First thing I've got to do is reach over here and get my chips. Actually, remarkably good. It's like a carbohydrate layer. Got to leave a little bit there for the cameraman. He's a woke Sydney sider. He probably won't eat those chips because they're not cooked in gorilla-free oil, but that's okay. We'll pop those on there for him anyway. Next, I need mac and cheese.
Yes!
Bring her in.
Here we go. All right.
Slap her down there, mate. Give me a look at that bad boy.
Ta-da.
One job.
Wait till you hear it stir.
Oh, yes. Did you taste it?
No.
Okay.
A good chef never tastes before they eat.
Next, we each get a lamb risole on top. I want you all just to remember it's a real recipe. It really does exist. Next, grab that meat sauce, put it over the top. If you think we are finished, we are not even close. You're gonna need to come with me. Look at these eggs. The first thing I've actually cooked halfway decently. We're not leaving here till midday tomorrow. Now, next thing we need, if this wasn't enough, We need a good dosing of cheese over the top. Next, a little bit of dead horse. Hot sauce is an absolute must on a garbage plate. And then finally, wouldn't be an American recipe without American mustard. For this, go the opposite direction to what you applied the hot sauce. Yeah, it matters. That, my friends, is what we call a garbage plate.
I'm really excited about this.
I'm not entirely sure how one tackles this. I guess just go in, eh? Oh my.
He's got a clump of mac and cheese.
Oh, mate. Honestly, that is pretty darn good. There are so many flavours in that. Okay, it's not something you'd have every week or you'd end up in hospital, but chips, mac and cheese, meat, tomatoes, chilli, egg.
What are you looking for?
It's got all the makings of things that I like in there.
Yeah.
It's just
I know.
all on one plate.
Yeah, that's
What?
why it's called the garbage plate. I pity tomorrow morning, but for now, folks at home, give the garbage plate a try. It is freaking amazing. Another gravel pit and another golden sunrise in the Gulf. And today, we've got a clear goal. From here, we're going to push northwest along the edge of the Gulf, aiming for the southern border of Arnhem Land. The route through the wild beauty of Limmen National Park. Just having a quick sniff around the old BT50, the Mazda here, and I think I've found the next modification, or rather I want to call it a solution for my Y62. Currently, I've taken the Y62 home, as you know. I've got a big, chunky, old school lithium sitting right about here. It's taking up literally a quarter of my canopy space, and because I've got that car at home now and I've dedicated it to camping, fishing, hunting, I want as much space in the canopy as I can. This one here from EnerDrive is a 200 amp hour, and yet it mounts in it's almost flush with the edge of the canopy, meaning it's virtually taking up no space, or rather, it's using dead space. What else are you going to use that for? Speaking of which, EnerDrive actually have their modules can be mounted north, south, east or west. What do I mean by that? Well, they've got ones that mount on the roof line, so you can actually put them in the channels up here, bolt them to the channels, and all the instrumentation, the clusters, everything is up here in the right direction. When you're designing your fit out, you can just jump on the EnerDrive website and see what works for you as to where you want to mount your entire system. And mount it in dead space that's out of the way. And that's a mistake I made in the Y62, but I think that right there is in my future. The roads out here only reopened a few days ago, literally, which means we've practically got the place to ourselves. And somewhere up ahead, there's a hidden waterfall we're hoping to reach. If it all goes to plan, we should have it to ourselves. Oh, turning circle. Non-existent. Do the best you can, big car. Heading west today. We're going to go past the turn off to one of my... I'll show you when I get there. We can't go in. I'll explain when I get there. But beyond that, to the west of that, a place not many people get to see, and I think you are going to be utterly blown away. Pretty special part of the world. Really getting remote now. Savannah Way at its finest, if you ask me. Bit of a drive this morning, so I suggest you put a bit of Tay-Tay on. Let's get stuck into it.
You've piqued our interest. Lead the way, mate.
Doesn't have to be Tay-Tay, but I strongly recommend it for the Savannah Way. I'm not actually that big a fan. Like, if a road song comes on, I don't know even the words. You know, I wouldn't know the words to, like 10% of her songs. You know. It's not going to look like it to you folks watching at home, but we've been on the road for quite a while now, and it's really nice to see everyone getting into a bit of a routine. They're big days, a lot of driving being done, but of a morning and an evening, it's kind of endearing to watch. B and George, they sort of have their routine that they do when they get into camp. The cameraman, he's the same. He can't be hurried in the morning. He's got stuff he's got to do. It's such a nice feeling when you do these big, long trips and you start to find a bit of a groove. You don't get that from just doing your little weekend trips away. And I think that's why all of us enjoy, these big, long, epic trips out in the bush, because you enter into another, time zone, another phase that you don't get in everyday life. You're doing stuff, you're busy, the days are full. I'm sleeping like an absolute baby at night because you're knackered. But it's a different kind of knackered. It's a knackered you don't get at work. It's a knackered you don't get in your daily life. It's something so uniquely special about these big road trips in your 4Bs, and I don't think I'll ever tire of them. And I especially love this part. Just sitting back in my lounge chair, watching the Bush movie on my big 180-degree screen here. The Bush TV screen. I love it. Love it to pieces. The Savannah Way is still as relentless as ever. Constant corrugations, rocky water crossings, and ultimate remoteness. The perfect place for a touring setup like ours. Certainly not where you'd expect to see, well, this. So we're just driving along Savannah Way here, and there's a dude in a ditch in a little family car. I don't know what he's doing, I'll find out. I'll just turn around to go back. But he's obviously come around the corner hot, seen this puddle of water and thought, I better not go into that, and yeah, dootsed himself into the bank. I don't know how long he's been here, but I'll just pull up and we'll get him out and see if we can get him on his way. I sure don't think he should be going that way though. He needs to turn around and come back the way he came from. Let's get the poor bugger out of there, shall we? Well, you're very lucky.
Yeah, I'm very, very lucky. Yeah.
How long have you been here? 20 minutes?
Yeah, 20 minutes in there.
Now, we haven't seen any cars.
Yeah.
2 days.
2 days.
2 days.
Oh, I'm just lucky. Yeah.
Yes, you are. So you've come around the corner, seen the water,
Yeah.
hit the brakes,
Yeah.
and gone hoo-yah into here.
It's happening to some.
Yeah, it does, man.
Well, I'm lucky. I meet you.
You're very lucky.
Yeah.
You're very lucky. All right, I reckon we pull you out backwards,
Yeah, yeah.
and let's see if the car's okay. You got to understand just how remote we are right now, and how lucky this bloke is. The nearest speck of civilization is probably the Heartbreak Hotel in Cape Crawford, and that's over 100k walk from here. Without the right gear, this could have gone very, very wrong. You jump in.
Yep.
Start her up. And then just put it in neutral. Is that neutral?
Yeah, it's a neutral.
In neutral? Good, good.
Yeah.
Handbrake off?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Good to go? Slowly, slowly. Let's give it a go.
Thanks God.
Just turn her off for me.
Yeah.
Turn the car off, and I'll take that rope out. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be when I saw how hung up he was. But then I remembered it's not a 4.5 ton four-wheel drive. The Yaris, it's good.
Yeah, it's good. Thanks. Oh, I appreciate it.
Nah, man. Let's get this unhooked,
Yeah.
and then see if everything's okay with the car. Count your lucky stars, mate. You've lived to fight another day. But I'd turn back now if I were you. From what we've seen up ahead, the track only gets worse. Looks okay. Righto, brother. Good luck, man.
Yeah.
Good luck.
If I have a girl, I will marry you.
Yeah. Good luck, man. You've got a long drive.
Oh yeah.
You be careful, all right?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, bro.
See you.
So basically, he's trying to get to, I know the place, it's a little Aboriginal community, but it's way north. Now, technically speaking, this way is quicker. If you were in a four-wheel drive, you'd be there late this afternoon. In that little Tiger, that's a small water crossing, as you've seen. I just can't trust that he should go that way. So we've told him to go all the way back to Cape Crawford, across to Daly Waters, all the way up to Mataranka, then cut in on the Mataranka road. Big old detour, but at least you'll get there, because I don't think he's going to get there going that way. Well, bastard. See what he said right at the end? He said, if he ever has a daughter, he'll come back, I can marry her. Sick. Yes. Stoked. Well, he was one lucky chap. He'd only been waiting 20 minutes. Could have been days.
It might just be a tip to anyone who wants to meet you. Just throw your car in a ditch and Gary magically appears.
The fairy of the road. This is why we only shoot off-grid during the year, because at Christmas time, man's in the North Pole.
He's slammed.
He's slammed making gifts.
The team's in high spirits and a good deed done. Some perfect morning conditions. carry us a few hundred k's further north to a little place that I hold very dear to my heart. Coming up down here on the right-hand side is probably, in my humble opinion, the most exciting turn-off that you could ever do in a four-wheel drive. I haven't been out here since something happened, so I'm very keen to see what the turn-off looks like, because it used to be, I mean, your heart would start racing, because this right here, this right-hand turn is the turn-off to none other than Lorella Springs. One of the last great untouched wilderness locations in Australia. I'm so keen to see what it looks like now, because everything's changed. Everything has changed. Well, that's real grim, that is. That is real grim. That's a really sorry sight, that is. It's a shame.
That is a real shame.
If you were doing a lap of Australia, and I've spoken to so many people that have done a lap of Australia, virtually every single one of them, virtually all of them, said that Lorella Springs was the highlight of their entire lap of Australia. What Rhett and his family created down there was truly astounding. Now, for me personally, very first time we went out there, Sean and I cut a track from inland all the way out, following a river out to the mouth on the ocean. Without a doubt, the most adventurous and single most incredible thing I've ever done in my career. What has happened down there for Rhett to A, close this, and B, not share it with other people, because Rhett loved that country more than he loved anything in life. Second to that, Rhett loved sharing that with every traveller that came through. You can still go in there, but it's got to be done on an organised tour in a big air-conditioned bus with thousands of other people, and that's not for me. I don't know what happened. I don't know what went down, but I've got everything crossed. Fingers, toes, nose hairs, everything is crossed that one day this sign will get ripped down and burnt, and the original big sign will come back up that was just so welcoming and so exciting to turn right and go down into what for me is probably one of the greatest wilderness areas in Australia. Imagine that whole thing in your shed, mate. Oh, I'd love that. There's a bit of emotion here, but no time to dwell. We're now pushing deeper into Limmen National Park, a massive stretch of country that runs all the way up to Arnhem Land. And it's full of jaw-dropping beauty, like this hidden gem right here, untouched, unmarked, and all ours.
Check this out.
As you've probably seen with the footage we've been getting, she's dry and dusty out here at the moment, but this waterhole, it actually stays full of water for quite a long time after the wet. In fact, it's not uncommon for this to be swimmable all year round, and it's also touted as being the only safe swimming in the entire section of the park. Now, when I say safe, like define safe, like is there a percentage chance I'm going to get eaten by a croc? Like you got 10% chance you're going to get eaten by a croc, thus pretty safe. Yanka? We'll send B in first. See what happens.
Oh, there's heaps of fish over here.
Or is it a croc making himself look like that?
Nah, heaps of fish.
After thousands of kilometres, long drives and tough tracks, moments like this make it all worthwhile. This place, this country, it's just about as good as it gets.
Oh my God!
I've been trying so hard to get him.
The bits of death got him!
What a journey it has been so far. That secret swimming hole, it marks the halfway point of our golf adventure. That's right, halfway. And from here, things only get wilder. The tracks start to vanish, the land gets rougher, and nature begins to remind us she's the one in charge out here. By my calculation, folks, 3,252.1 kilometres so far, roughly halfway across the country in a straight line. It has been bloody epic. I reckon we pull in. It's a bit of a secret squirrel camp for the night here.
Yeah, we are with you. A few bumps through bruises. This is living.
Tomorrow, folks, we keep pushing northwest into some of the most spectacular darn bit of country in Australia. if this series of off-grid doesn't get your pulse racing, go and check you got one. Till then, I'm going to pull into camp, crack a cold beer, and I'll see you guys next time on Off-Grid, because we have got a lot to go. Next time on Off-Grid, most travellers see Kakadu National Park as the crown jewel of the NT. There's a bit of a push right here. Oh, look at the view! Look at the view, look at the track. But we reckon we found something even better. We're heading there next, and you're going to want to see why.